All right, so now we're going to go ahead and go into actual skin work. We're going to work on our own backside of our hands and our forearms. Just a little bit, so you now can feel what your client is going through. Because if you're doing this dermaplaning classes and you don't even get a chance to experience it, that's the thing I didn't like about my dermaplaning class in New York City. The models we worked on were just models, and there were people off the street. We barely even had enough people to work on. It was a nightmare. But the one thing that I will take away from that class is like, wait a minute, why don't we just work on ourselves? Because we took it upon ourselves, not the instructor. No, other estheticians said, no, let's start working on our. Because I had a lot of hair, we had other clients with hair. Let's work on ourselves. Let's do the leg or something. Let's just practice. Because our own instructor didn't know what. The models wasn't showing up on time. We were all just excited to take the class. And thank God we started to work on our own body parts. So now we're going to work on the hand. So as you guys can see, that's all dead skin. That dead skin right there. See what I'm saying? That's what you got to get off people's faces. It's dead skin. Even on my hand, my own hand, as you can see, yeah, just dead skin. And I washed my hand, I sanitized my hand, and that's how crazy your skin, how dull or dirty it can be. And you can definitely tell the difference between which side is which. And I'm going to keep on going so you guys can see. I was just showing you guys the difference between the blades. They all cut the same, just have different functions, different purposes. So now let's go back to the butter blade. So now we're going to add in a butter blade. So butter blade, like we're buttering the bread. Butter, butter, butter. We need that butter, that money. Because we're going to be hooking up a lot of people and they're going to be paying you a lot of money. So that's why we need these butter blades. So now you're going to see me slough off more dead skin on the same hand. Now, when you're shaving your face, I can almost guarantee you, you do not get all this dead skin up at all. Because the blade isn't that sharp. The blade is sharp enough to make cuts and nicks and marks, whatever, yes. But it's not this sharp to get that right there, dead skin, this white stuff. This is skin. These are millions, if not billions, of dead skin cells bottled up on our skin. But with a razor blade, even if you dry shave, you won't see this stuff. You might if you have sensitive skin, maybe, but me, I have very, very oily skin, and I dried my skin out. Not too much, but so you guys can see where the dead skin is coming from, how it's coming off. And I have oily skin and it's still showing up on the camera. Dead skin. But to prove to you about how I nicked myself, let me show you. So if you look closely, right there, I nicked myself. Let me get the camera ready. So right there, you see that little pinpoint of blood right there? That's me. I just nicked myself with the razor. So you're going to make mistakes. See it? Right there. Yep. Let me point it out to you guys one more time. Right here. And right there. But if you look at my skin, it's smooth. It's like, man, good grief. And you add some oil to it, which we're going to do in just a minute. But I'm just showing you guys how to dermaplane your own hands, fingers, whatever you need to do, so you can effect change and see how it feels by dry dermaplaning. So now we're going to go into some wet dermaplaning so you can see the differences between the glide and the slip. Ta-da! See how easy it just comes right off. It's super easy. That's why I like the gel. You don't have to keep stroking. You don't have to keep on going. It comes right off. No problems whatsoever. It is easy. Like I said, it clings onto the hairs. It coagulates. Super easy. Now, as you can see, I made 2 mistakes, or actually 3. 1, 2, 3. That's the major one right there. So that's what happens when you go straight down with the blade onto your skin. Be careful. Be very, very, very careful. But it's okay. I don't feel it. It's just that's how sensitive or very sharp these blades are. They're very, very sharp. Man. And just like that, nice, smooth, glowing skin. Man, fresh. And now you're ready for your lady later on that night. Oh man, you're gonna slide, well, you're gonna do something and it's gonna be amazing. Because now you're nice and nails are trimmed. Oh yeah, you gotta trim those nails if you're gonna mess around down there. And she wants to slide on your skin and the skin looks good. And man, flawless. I'm trying to tell you, this is what your clients will want. And so once you provide this for your clients, man, it's gonna be silky smooth and glowing. It's like, man, I actually have a nice tan to my skin because of this, pretty much the CBD cream that I just used. Because yes, it does, well, it doesn't turn your skin tan, but it gives you that nice golden look. And that's pretty much the green or the plant. They're, pretty much the plant juice. The juice is from the marijuana plant, cannabis plant. It's made from CBD. That's why I only put a little bit. As you can see, I had a little dab, and that little dab does all of this. It's highly concentrated. I'm trying to tell you, there's nothing out there like it. There isn't. If there is, I gotta know about it. And I'm like, man, did you steal my recipe or whatever it was? Because I worked very hard on making the products that I make for people's faces. It's organic. It's great for your skin. As you can see, it just glows and it stays like this for the whole entire day. The only time that you may need to reapply twice is during the winter. If you live in Sweden or Poland, Iceland, one of those places, somewhere in the mountains where it's cold, Tibet, then you need to lather up twice out of the day. Once in the morning, once before you go to bed, or before you get home. The sun still strips people's skin even in the wintertime. Those sun rays still come down through the clouds. You're still getting a burn, or the sun can still affect you. The sun is great, don't get me wrong. It's not the sun's fault. We're the fault. Dumbasses who have polluted the ocean through nuclear war, nuclear waste, all this other nonsense. We're putting stuff in the air. Look at China. Oh my God, China has like toxic factories every damn where. And I'm not saying Chinese people are bad. No, it's the motherfucking governments who don't regulate what's going on over there. Perfect. It's wonderful. So all we're doing right here, we're just adding in the facial gel or the facial cream that helps glide with the blade. It's a little cold, so you just tell your client it's a little cold. And you just add it to the forehead area first, down the side, and then to the cheeks. And then you're going to stop at the cheeks. Maybe a little bit of the chin. Because I have a lot of product, so I can spread it out. Okay, put your fan brush down. Make sure you put your lid back on. Close it tight. Put it to the side. Make sure you take your handle. And all you're going to do is put a new blade on. Your new blade. Take it out of the wrapping. And slide it on. I slid it on without the gloves because sometimes the glove, it sticks to the glove and you don't want this flying over your client's face or flying on the floor or wherever. Or you can just put it on, right here on the side next to the client's head and then put it on. So I just put it on to show you guys I do it without gloves. Now I put my gloves on. Because this procedure, yes, you should wear gloves at all times if you're doing anything with cutting into the face with microdermabrasion or dermaplaning and a chemical peel. Those 3 treatments. And acne, I should say. So 4 treatments you should always wear gloves with. But for me, I don't, but I'm going to show you guys with gloves how you should be using your dermaplaning tool on our wonderful client. So remember, we start forward, go to the side of the face, or you can go down sideways, which meaning you're just going to switch your position in your chair and go sideways. So from here, I'm up top. And no worries, we're going to get a closer view in just a moment. White. And so remember, just like that kiwi, just like the fruit that we had, the peach, the plum, the light plum and the dark plum, the lemon represented the harsh skin or leather skin. All you're doing is putting these 2 or 3 fingers or 4, however many fingers that you want, put on the forehead and pull back a little bit so you can stretch out the skin to get a better pull on the hairs. The hairs stand up when you pull the skin back. So again, fingers, pull back. And you're just taking your time, nice and slow. Again, fingers, pull back. So when I was saying you can switch your positions, just turn your chair to the side. You're going to be facing this way instead of facing vertical. You're now going horizontal. And with her skin, we're just going to ask your client to move over just a little bit. That's perfect right there. And so now you can get this angle. Because up top when you're trying to go down, it's a little hard and it's a little weird for your hand position. So here, grab the skin. And see where the tail of the eyebrow is? I want to go right on the border of it. That's all. So I'm really just following the tail of the eyebrow. Perfect. Now to clean up the small little baby hairs that are loose or outside of everything. So say somebody has the nice beeswax or gel, eco gel, whatever you have, and it slicks back the hair so where it's nice and uniform. If it's not, that's okay. That's what this cream, you can use the same cream and just move them back. So you don't want to cut anybody's baby hairs that they want to keep. You do not want to lose your client. So in that position, or in that case, see this right here, these hairs can get clipped. So all you're doing is pulling the hair or pulling the skin back. and just going straight down. And that's it. That's about all I want to cut off. Everything else, we want to keep the sideburn a little bit, but we're just shaping it up, that's all. Because you actually have a stylist that's going to do that. You have somebody who arches eyebrows. I normally just clean up the top of the eyebrow and maybe below it. That's it. I don't try to arch anything. Unless you're an arch master, then yes, go for it. But other than that, don't mess around with people's eyebrows. So that's what I just clean up the forehead really quickly. And so the eyebrow. So all I'm going to do with the eyebrow is go right at the border of her brow, like such. That's it. Wipe. Now if it's too much excess cream, flip the blade upside down. This blade is not going to cut into the skin because it's upside down. So now you can gather the excess gel and then wipe. Now you flip back over to the sharp side. Remember which side you're on. Don't mess around. Pull the hair up. So see how I wiped and you have these two straggling hairs right here? So I'm just going to clean those up. Bam. Gone. Already. Easy. Pull the skin. Look at that. And so you're just basically going on the outline of her eyebrow. And you tell your client, I am close to your eyebrow, but I'm not cutting your eyebrows. I'm just shaping them up. That's all. I'm making an outline. And that's it. That's pretty much all I do for the eyebrow. And see how I move my finger to wipe out any hairs, and see how those hairs just came out? That's good. We want to get those out of the way. So as you guys can see, all I'm going to do is add a little bit more gel to the forehead, chin and cheek area, just to get ready this side for our treatment. So I'm just preparing this side. I'm going to finish up on the forehead, and then we're going to go right back to the right side. So again, you grab your blade, and all you're doing is doing small strokes. Remember, I'm looking for the hairline. This is the hairline. I don't want to go anything backwards. So I want to start right here where I see little small tiny vellus hairs. Or baby hairs, vellus hairs, unwanted hairs. And I'm just moving forward. Right to the eyebrow line. That's it. Remember, see the tail right here at the eyebrow? So all I'm going to do is match up this end with the tail. So I'm going right down there. Nice and slow. You don't want to mess up anybody's eyebrows. Ta-da! And so we'll come back and we'll finish that side. But for now, so the hairs, they'll flip the blade over. Remember, like I said, this is the sharp side. When you flip it over, it doesn't cut into the skin. It's just a regular flat surface. So that's when you clean up these little extra hairs, stragglers, get those out the way. You don't want to clip nothing that you're not supposed to be clipping. So we're going to ask our, or we're going to move our client's head again. There we go. Perfect. So see how this side, the cream actually dries because it's organic. It's not the cream that you buy in the stores to where it's going to go ahead and stay wet and glossy, because that's a chemical. This stuff, yes, I have to make aloe vera juice, vitamin E, and a little bit of samarides added into it, and that's all I put in this gel. Oh, I'm so sorry, glycerin as well. And the glycerin helps it, it's a thickener, and that's why it's like a gel base on the person's face, like jelly. And from here, all I'm doing is adding my thumb and then pushing back. Thumb, pulling back. That's all I'm doing to make the skin taut or tight, so the hairs can pull up and get into a good position where my blade can cut them. So unlike the fruit, as you can see, I'm normally standing at a 45-degree angle. She has a model face. She has a asymmetrical face. Nothing's out of place. She has like pretty much a diamond-shaped face. If you can see, her chin, cheeks, they bow out like a diamond, and then they narrow back in on the forehead like a diamond. So she's easy to work with. A gentleman or young lady whose face is oblong or oval, like Beyonce has an oval face. An oblong face would be, well, Cher's face is kind of like an oblong, but she's still gorgeous, she's still pretty. It's just their faces are longer or wider, like a pie face. It's rounder. Hers is asymmetrical. She's not a heart-shaped face. There's heart-shaped faces, like I would say Taylor Swift would be a heart-shaped face. Someone like Ariana Grande, she would be heart-shaped. Kendall Jenner, heart-shaped face. Well, kind of a diamond slash heart. She's kind of in the middle. So you have to look at certain people. Lupita, she would pretty much be a heart-shaped as well. She's not pie face, she's not a diamond, she's, yeah, more of a heart face shape. Or if you look at Sofia Vergara, she's an oblong face, but she's gorgeous. Any man would want her. So when you're working on these faces, work at the 45-degree angle. 0 degrees more for males because we have hard, tough skin, and you need to be at a 0 degree, flat on the face. But we need to be at a 45 for her. Her face is perfect. It's symmetrical. Some people have easy faces to work with. And so see how her face, it stays basically straight up. Like she doesn't move when I'm dermaplaning. So you have to ask your clients or move your client's face to where you can actually get to the hairs without bending your wrist. Because see how my wrist stays flat or straight up? I need it to actually be flat this way. Perfect. So even as you can see my client's skin turning red, right, this blade is still very sharp to where it's coming in contact with the skin and it's agitating it, because some people's skin isn't just used to having a sharp blade or shaving on the face all the time. Even for men, we have sensitive skin as well, so not every guy's just going to go ahead and get through a shaving treatment without any type of redness or irritation. Now as for the sideburns, I leave a nice little point. I try not to mess with anybody's sideburns because it does shape the face. She has a nice little point, as you can see, and that's all I do. You can clean to the bottom right here if you want to, and then make it a sharper point. And that's it. See? And it shapes her face. Now back here, you can get the back of the neck hairs if you want to. That's probably going to be another course that I teach, but right now, because we're pressed for time, you would get these hairs right here, the little small vellus hairs, and these will be easy to get, but we're going to do that in another video. For the eye area, all we're going to do is hold down here, pull the skin away from the eye as much as possible, and then collect the hair on the face. Now for the lip area, remember the lip area, all I'm going to do is pull the lip from this side. So I'm basically going middle of the nose, right where the middle of the cupid's bow is. I'm pressing here, and then I'm pulling down to the sides. Or you can come in closer and pull, as long as you pull the lip to where you can get the hairs. And she only has tiny hairs, but some people have a lot of hair, so you need to pull that lip because it's uncomfortable with a blade going across the lip. It kind of hurts. And so once again, with the lip, remember, thumb, pull as much as you can. Or if you want to get the hairs on the back near the nostrils, like back here near the nose holes, you would place your thumb and move forward. So thumb forward, and that will stretch out the lip so you can get the hairs closer to the nose. Now for the lower lip, as you can see, I went underneath her lip and I pulled backwards because I want to pull up the hairs. I want to cut as much hairs off as I can because we're going to come back up the lip in a minute. I just want to show you how I'm going down the lip. Now coming up the lip, and ta-da, look at her face. It's smooth, man. No area is missed, and if you see any wetness, then you just go over it again a little bit. That's gone. Right here. Perfect. Okay. So now underneath the eyelid, you can clean up underneath. Just be precise, be careful. I only do a little bit, and I've been doing it for a while, but I still only touch up the bottom area. That's it. I don't arch anybody's eyebrows. I'm very meticulous and careful. So watch. And as you guys can see how the blade made a small little nick on the lower eye, or not lower eye, the upper eyelid. See, it's a little bit coming out, but that's okay. People's skin is very sensitive. That's why I go nice and slow. But how do we recover from this? How do we stop this? So now we get this little agent. It's called Nick Relief. Nick Relief stops little cuts and bruises or bumps or anything that's oozing in a heartbeat. So we let it come on out as normal as it's supposed to. It's a little small nick. Look at her eye. See how she has a lot of veins and venules and capillaries? That can happen. And that was just a little small blade that made one little, that looks like an acne, like I popped acne and it came out. So to stop those, all you would do is add the nick relief. You grab a little bit of water. Well, let's open up the nick relief first. All you're going to do is put a little bit in the cap. You're going to put it in the cap. Okay. Next, all you're going to do is grab a little bit of water. See the powder inside? That's the nick relief. That's going to stop the bleeding. And it's already stopped on its own, but just in case you cut to somebody's skin and it's bleeding a lot, this is what you'll need: nick relief, because you nicked the skin. Men, we nick ourselves all the time when we shave, all the time. It's crazy. So you just dip your finger into the water and then dip it in here and put it on the wound as such. Just see how it's dry on my finger. We're going to put it right on the eye. And that's it. You just let it sit. Now if it's runny like that, you just grab a little bit more. So see how I have a little bit more still left in the cap? Just get a little bit more on your fingers and dab the area one more time. There we go. And you let it sit, you let it dry. That's all. Because we're going to take care of it in just a moment with a sponge. We're going to wipe it off. And it's called nick relief. Like I said, some things are going to happen. But don't worry about it. Don't stress yourself out about it. Because as you can see, my client is still asleep. She's resting. She's resting her eyes. We didn't make any huge mark to where somebody had to come out of their sleep, then that's a problem. If you cut somebody's face like that, then you shouldn't be an esthetician. Okay, so now we're going to do the other side. Alright everybody, so now as you guys can see, I'm going to do the upper lip, finish up on this side, do a little bit of the nose with that special blade that I showed you guys last time about how to do the nose, and we should be done. So just put a little bit of gel or cream on the nose. You just ask your client to like fold their lips in like like mum's the word. Like, so we can glide. And perfect. That is it. And so from the lip area, like I said, you're going to hold down and go to the sides. Again, hold down, go to the side. Wipe the excess off. And so she didn't need much, so you really only need to do 1 or 2 passes, maybe 3, and then that's it. So let me give you guys a closer view of what I was talking about. And like I said, you can move to the side and make sure you didn't forget anything underneath the chin, the cheek area. And you can dermaplane from the side if you want to. So you can ask your client to move her head all the way to the side, and you can dermaplane sideways if you want to. Or you can ask her to move back to neutral and then come underneath and do dermaplaning from underneath the chin. So I'm gonna flip the blade over so she doesn't feel it. And so you can come up the chin if you want to, so you can see the skin, or you can come down. So remember, I turned the blade over. If the blade was reversed this way, then you just do it nice and slow, nice and gentle. And you'll be pulling the skin up just how you did the lip and everything else. So remember, you can go down. I flipped the blade over just to show demonstration purposes. The blade is flipped over, and you can come down to the sides, get the chin. The chin is angled, so you have to come to the front of the face to work on the neck area, chin, all the other good stuff. Okay. So for the nose, I'm going to put on a different blade so I can show you guys what that other little blade does for the nose. So again, we're going to take off the blade. Okay, so we get one of our new blades. We remember at the top the handle, you fold it over, and then you tear, you flip or flick till you can get the opening. Opening opens up. Take the blade out a little bit to where you got the little handle entrance. Put in your blade, or see how I had it flat? That's not going to work. See, it won't go in. So I have to turn it over, look for the groove. The groove, put it on in, go nice and slow, it clicks in. So ta-da, we're in. So now in the nose area, I'm just going to put a little bit of gel on the nose. And it's cold. Just let your client know, hey, a little cold sensation is coming in. Because you don't want to shock them. Some people are sleeping at this time. I don't want to mess around. Excuse me. Jesus.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so before we go to the nose area with the little smaller blade, we have to look at our client's wound. As you can see, it dried up, it solidified. And so once it solidifies, we now get the sponge, and now we're going to take off that quick clot or the nick relief cream or nick relief powder, I should say. It's not even a cream, but it does come into a cream. The creams are a little bit more expensive, but this is the powder form. It dries up. It looks nasty. It looks terrible. But when we take it off with the sponge, you'll see it's like, wow, okay, nothing really happened. So we get our facial sponge. Wring your sponge out. See, you got our sponge. You can dab because you don't want to drag a cut. So just dab, dab, dab. Flip it over. See, most of the cream still wants to come off, so we get another set of sponges or water. Go over it again. And see how it dried up. Really, it super dries up the blood, so you have to just keep on taking it off, and see, voila, it comes off. So get another sponge. And this one was tough because I put a lot of nick relief on it, the powder. As I said, you only need a little bit. And see how it's like stuck in there? The blood has dried up, super dried up. And so there we go. Now it's finally coming out. So sometimes you have to just use a dab of the relief cream. And then the dried up blood goes away. So from there you can add in your cooling gel or your face gliding gel cream, because it does act as a toner. It's antiseptic because it has some witch hazel in there as well. So there we go. We'll leave that there so it can heal. And that's how you clean up a small cut if you make a cut on somebody's skin. So remember the nose area. So the nose, area, we're going to use a different blade, a small 15 blade on the nose. So this blade is perfect for getting in those hard to reach places, like right here on the sides or little cracks and crevices of the nose. You can get real close and just take your time. Get the tippy top of the nose. Because if you try this with the butter blade, it's a little awkward, but this blade is just perfect for getting a little rounded part of the nose. And remember, the nose is super sensitive. You don't want to leave scratches on people's face. So the next day when they get up, you'll see scratches on the nose if you use a bigger blade. So don't use a bigger blade. And remember, to get that front of the nose, all you're going to do is position yourself to where you can see the nose. As far as the Cupid's bow, you're going to get the middle piece. So I'm going to use my thumb or my fingers to push down, and then we're going to get the Cupid's bow. Voila. It's also good for underneath the lip if you want a more precise. Because see how she has a little bit of fuzz underneath the lip that I couldn't get with the 10 blade. So we're gonna go ahead and go underneath. Perfect. So it's just a smaller blade that gets in the nooks and crannies of places that's hard to reach otherwise. So we're going to ask our client to keep going down this way. Perfect, right there. It's wonderful. Now see how I opened up the wound again? We just grab our nick relief again. So this time, all I'm going to do is put the nick relief right here on the table. I'm going to dip my hand into the gel, because all you need is something that's wet. Put it right on the top, turn it upside down, and so you have enough on your finger. So just go to the top where it is. There we go. That's all you need. Wipe the remaining on your towel, your white towel. And so now we're going to do the other side of the nose and we should be done. So as you guys can see, even right here on this corner of the nose, there's one little small nick right there and one small nick right there. Those little two small holes or two small little red spots, that's where the blade came in contact with the skin and made it come open as well. It's not bleeding or anything, but that's also a place where I made a nick. Some people's skin is super sensitive. You don't really need much to glide on the skin. You just need light pressure. As you can see, man, even I can make mistakes. You can make mistakes. Everybody can. You don't want to flip out and just tell your client at the time, this may sting a bit when the chemical peel. When the chemical peel goes on top of this one and this one, that will go away instantly. And this one will too, because it's going to fry it out. It's going to make it sizzle and just slough off anyway. So it's no worries, but you just still let them know. Alright, so now I'm putting back my instruments. Get everything out of the way so my client doesn't fall on anything, slip on anything, nasty hairs, blood, anything I've taken off her face or my instruments. It can look kind of crazy afterwards. So you don't want to scare somebody and say, oh, or they might think it's somebody else's hairs from a previous treatment that you gave somebody. So make sure you come with clean towels, clean everything. Because even I had a spot on the table which was something from a fruit acid that seeped through my table. So you have to break it down to people what it is, what they're getting themselves into. Because yeah, I don't lay on anything nasty unless you tell me what it was. Hopefully it's nothing crazy. Take off your gloves. You're going to do a final cleanse with your sponges. Rinse your sponges out. Because remember, you put the gel on the face. So now you want to take off as much gel or product off the face as possible. Because after that, we're going to put on a nice moisturizer. Man, her skin is super smooth. It's soft, supple. Man, she's ready. And you really give a good thorough cleanse because the gel was on there. Most people, if you do it without the gel and you do a dry dermaplaning, then you don't have to worry about all this. You don't. You just have maybe a fan or maybe a little duster with the little small bristles, and you can whip across the person's face and get rid of the dead skin. Or after this treatment, you can do a nice microdermabrasion, or actually a diamond tip microdermabrasion would be better instead of the crystals, because the crystals get everywhere. So you use your diamond tip microdermabrasion machine, and that'll suck up all the dead skin cells anyway, and you'll be good to go. So we get our nice moisturizer. But even without the moisturizer, you can see her skin is glowing. It's, man, smooth. She's doing well. There might be a few little small hairs. Just clean them up. Make sure you check the person's face. So now you dip in with your moisturizer. You only need a little bit. That is all you need. That's it. Watch. And this may be even too much. I'm betting this is way too much. This is highly concentrated. You get in your hand, see how moisturizing it is for my hands, see how glowing they are. Just add it to the client's face. Don't worry about if it's too much. You can always use towels to blot dry the face. You want everybody's face looking like, you know, real shiny and greasy. Man, I mean, I like a shiny, greasy face because that's my face every day. I'm always sweating. I have oil production. It's crazy. So I'm used to it. And actually, I left a little bit of the gel on the nose area. I didn't wipe it down too good. But that's okay. Get your sponge and get rid of it. That's it. Eyebrow area, because I did go over the eyebrow with the gel. Just make sure everything's out of the eyebrow. There we go. And perfect. She is glowing, so as you guys can see, flawless and glowing. Perfect.